right, Jeff Race again here at VCF Southwest, and what do we got here? We got the Vint Nerd, and his name is Steve Dieterich. All right, you want to tell us a little about your exhibit here?
Well, we've got the wall of retro.
Yeah.
It started, if you watch our YouTube channel, my back wall is my storage, and we've got more machines than that. So It's kind of a fun thing we do with that.
Yeah.
But what we're showing here is these are all the known Atari 8-bit programming cartridges. So there's other programming languages that came out on disk, but the manufacturers, these are the only cartridges that were officially released.
So we got BASIC, I've seen that before. Assembly editor, I've seen that. I've seen the pilot. Maybe I've seen the logo. I don't know about the BASIC. I may have seen the BASIC. And what about this one?
This is Synapse Synassembler, and they did sell this assembler programming language on disk, but you could contact them and special order the cartridge, 40 years ago. So there's very few of these cartridges out here. And I bought somebody's pile of 800 stuff, and that was in there. And it was really a bonus at that point, right? And then these are the OSS programming languages that OSS came out with on cartridge.
So what is OSS? Is it a publisher?
Yes.
And so they came out with XE. So XE is different than the other BASIC over there?
Right. So the BASIC XE had some extra stuff in it for the Atari XE computers, like the 130XE and 128K. So they did things so you could use that extra memory in it. And before that was the BASIC XL, which, is that one? Yeah, so the BASIC XL was for the XL computers, the Atari XL computers, with special commands. The Mac 65 was their macro assembler, just like the Atari assembler editor, but of course better, right? The third-party software is better. And then Action is a really fun language. This is a procedural language, very organized.
Sort of like Pascal, a procedural language like that.
Yeah. So there's a gentleman whose name I can't remember who wrote Action, and then OSS picked it up and sold it for him. So this is a fun language. If you've ever used it, you'd like it.
So why does it Mac 65? I mean, people would think that's Macintosh.
Right. Well, because it's macro assembler.
Macro, not
macro
Macintosh. I see. And can you tell me about the other?
Well, this is the first BASIC for the Atari that Atari picked up to ship with the early Atari computers, the Atari 8-bit computers. And then that same programming group came out with this assembler editor, so you can start writing an assembler, although this is the least liked assembler editor in the Atari 8-bit world. And then back in that day, everybody had to have a pilot programming language and a logo programming language. It was really geared toward getting kids into programming. They were a little more fun to program in. And then originally, Atari was going to have their BASIC be Microsoft BASIC, and they couldn't pull it off, and so they went with what they got down here. And then eventually, they had Microsoft BASIC on disk, and then they came out with a next version and came out with the cartridge, Microsoft BASIC on cartridge.
So that's why it's BASIC 2, because
right.
They had one on disk first.
Correct.
Why did they make only 10 cartridges?
Well, a floppy disk is cheaper than a ROM cartridge. But the benefits of the ROM cartridge is it's instantaneous. It's just, you turn on the computer, it's there. And if you weren't using that memory space for RAM, you could use the ROM in that memory space. So, it's give and take each way. Nowadays, we don't care because we have more than 640K, right?
Thank you.